Welcome back, guys. I hope you're all doing well. If you are a conscious person and you realize right now that you are a living human being, you're actually alive. If you're one of those few people, when you look through the eyes of the masses and you see how they view the world, it's a very, very boring place. So much so, it might not even be worth it to be alive if you were to view the world in the way that most people do. And I mean that seriously. I mean, what is life to most people? Life is primarily composed of a set of things you have to check off a list. A set of things you have to check off a list. A couple things you have to do, knowing a few people, doing a few things, and that's it. And one of those things on the checklist is getting a job. Getting a job. Now, why is this pushed so much today? Well, there's lots of reasons why that could be. And one of those might be that people in positions of power want everyone below them to be servants. And that's a good way to put it, is servants. But also people's ideas, because of the ease of life, I would say, this is another reason, the ease of life now has made many things pointless, as well as the jobs people do. I mean, most work people do, it's like a lot of times you're not even doing anything real to help anyone. Not really. But one thing about many of the great men of the past, like Benjamin Franklin or Kit Carson, men like them, was that they realized they didn't have to go the conventional path. I mean, Ben Franklin worked for his dad, who was a candle maker, when he was a kid. And then he went on to he was apprenticed to his brother James, who was a printer. So for a part of Ben's life, he did have a job, or jobs. And he later went on to get a job in England as well, in London. So he did have jobs for periods of his life. But instead of letting the world happen to him, which by letting the world happen to you, it's basically letting everyone around you take control over you and impose their ideas upon you. Which again, if everyone's view of the world is so dismal and boring, dull, low, base, then you're not going to want to live in it if you realize, oh my God, there's my hand. If you just look at yourself in the mirror, that bird's loud, and realize, oh, I'm actually alive. I swear, nobody does that. Nobody does that. But if you did that, then you'd go, well, just like Ben Franklin, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I have some skills that I've gotten from jobs, so that's good. And I've made some money from jobs, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, the list of things that Ben Franklin invented is insane. The list of things that he did in his life is amazing. It's a very long list of high accomplishments. And those are just a few of his accomplishments. Those are publicly known accomplishments. Or Kit Carson, who for no moment in his life was wealthy. He was still, except for when he worked for the government, free. He was free. Especially when he was in his 20s and he was working as a trapper. He was free to do as he wished, to go where he wished. And he had skills that not many people had in the country at the time. Many people had in the West. but those skills would allow him to go basically wherever he pleased. And if he wished to work, he could always find work. Where people were, he could always find work. And he could pick up a job whenever he wanted, but again, he didn't necessarily need to. And many people in college now, I mean, the point of college is a job, right? I mean, why else would you go to college? It's not about getting educated. College isn't even about getting educated. It's about acquiring some skills to help you get a job. Now, of course, as I've said in many videos recently, and it can be debated over and over again about if you actually get skills from college, or if you can really get many good things out of college at all. But it's about getting a job. And hold on, there we go. The problem is, if you've never been in the real world, if you've never had to think in reality, then your view of what the future holds is going to be distorted and can be easily shapen by the people around you, which is exactly what college does. It goes, you know, the only way you're going to be able to make $100,000 is if you follow this 3-step process. Just spend $200,000 on us, and then we'll get you to success. We'll also take 4 years of time, but we'll get you there. It's just a 3-step process. I mean, that's what it does. And only we have what you need to get to where you're going. That's what college does. And it makes you think, well, I need a job. Everyone else around me has got a job. And, they don't really have very many accomplishments in life. I mean, all they look forward to is the end of the week and, going out to drink or a new movie or Disney Plus. But hey, hey, that sounds good. That's what everybody else is doing. When you lose that, you're going to realize, like, everyone's asleep. Everyone's sleepwalking, basically. Most people are sleepwalking. And when you get away from that and do what you wish instead. Because remember, you're, like Marcus Aurelius reminds us, like, you might not, tomorrow is not guaranteed. Not at all. And I know people say that all the time, and you can hear that, but you won't really digest it. You might not be here tomorrow. And there's really no guarantee that tomorrow is going to happen. But also, the life from the eyes of the masses sucks. So, it doesn't mean that if you separate and do your own thing, you're going to be in Ernest Hemingway or a Ben Franklin or a Louis L'Amour or a Kit Carson. That's not guaranteed. Of course not. But what is guaranteed is that you're taking your life into your hands. And that's much more important. Because again, you could die tomorrow. And time goes by very fast. And that's coming from an 18-year-old saying, time goes by fast. Whenever you talk to a 40-year-old, they're like, yeah, last week was like a day. Or last week was basically like 2 seconds, and that's it. So, what do you choose? Do you want the ease, but like death? Do you want death? Just working a job because you think you need it, maybe getting into debt, and wasting 4 years of your life at least in college, maybe doing that. But even if you don't go to college, is getting a job and sticking with a career the best thing you can do? Or do you want to do what you want to do? Even if that means you're not making a consistent amount of money every month. Even if that means you're not getting paid bi-weekly. And you have to think, am I okay with that? But there's so little time. So little time. It's actually insane to choose the former. To choose, I'd rather just stay asleep. I'd rather just sleepwalk through life and then die. You have to be crazy. So, the great men of the past did it though. They did it their own way. They got things done. They dealt with fears. But the biggest way I've seen to deal with a fear of not doing something is thinking about what you in 1 year would think about you not making the decision now. That's one way to look at it, because you'd be disappointed. You'd go, oh man, that fear wasn't even that big. I could have done it. Or you could think this way. You could think, I could die tomorrow. I could die today. And all this will be gone. So what matters? Well, it turns out the 9 to 5 doesn't matter. Turns out the video games don't matter. Turns out TV, movies don't matter. Not to say that all TV and movies is bad, but all these things that the masses love, it's their lifeblood. Like all these things that are just filled with, well, nothing. All these empty, sorrowful things. That's what the masses just grip onto, latch onto. Once you let go of that and go, no, actually, I want to do things my way. And life is so much better. It's strange. But, yeah. You don't need a job. You don't need a job. And why live life through somebody else's frame when you could do it your way? I think I think that's the simplest way I can put it.